Okay, so I'm very late with this video. This is meant to be a June devlog. However, now I'm here at the end of July without a devlog. So, new plan. For this one, I'm going to cover 2 months, and hopefully this won't happen ever again.
Liar!
Anyways, let's get right into it. Over June and July, I have done the following. Writing more of the main story, I've made more key art for characters, I've started map development, I made some Blender experiments, and finally I started posting on TikTok and YouTube, with a small follower increase. I am very proud of the progress I've made, and I look forward to what I'll do in the coming months. For a bit of context, these monthly devlogs are meant as a general update, covering everything I've done to keep myself accountable to the internet. For many of the topics that I cover in these monthly devlogs, there will be more videos discussing these topics in detail. After 3 iterations, the story is finally taking shape into something more interesting. Over the past 2 months, I've gone through 2 chapters of the story, roughing out all the details in bullet points so I can breeze through without wasting time. I established the first introductions to the player characters and their climactic introductions to each other, and I set up their conflict for the rest of the story. As always, I ran into a few issues. Luna's stories seem to be boring in comparison to Ethan's. Luna's introduction chapters are meant to be an introduction to crusading and a first look at the Veil, whereas Ethan's story in comparison is a raid on a crusader facility. Since Ethan's chapter 1 missions were more dynamic than Luna's, I made the Veil exploration a bit more dangerous by introducing new monsters right from the start. Over the last 2 months, I had summer semester, so I have an excuse.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Luna's and Ethan's designs have finally started to take shape into something closer to what I wanted, something in between techie and magical, but I haven't completely worked out the cyberpunk parts of the design yet. Honestly, I didn't think we'd get this far into development during July. Then I realized that we aren't going to need the character models for a really long time, so we just started developing. So we opened up the Unity file and started messing around, trying to build up the game map from the latest one that I drew, being this one here. Currently, I know very little about Blender, so modeling things in Blender is understandably difficult. For the sake of putting something into the game file, I made some rough shapes for the building so we can get a sense of scale. The biggest thing about Holos' design is its verticality, so tall buildings that stack on top of each other is basically the name of the game. Thinking about it was cool. Sketching it was cool. Actually modeling it, oh boy, I've opened a whole can of worms and I'm already scared of the workload. I am not very good at making videos consistently, so I don't really have a concrete posting schedule. Well, actually I do. It just knocks me from where I pinned it on the corkboard. But I believe I should just leave it to nature and just let the habit build naturally. But the one thing I do intend on holding myself to are these monthly devlogs. Any other videos or content that I decide to make or post are extra. Currently I am posting on 3 platforms, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, all with the username Record Artist. I post the most on Instagram as it is the easiest for me to use, but that might change because my TikTok following is catching up to my Instagram following. There wasn't much to catch up to. I'll be scheduling in dev sessions while finalizing all of the art and story for the game. As more of the story is fleshed out and finalized, I intend to start releasing story snippets as comics or illustrations, but it entirely depends on how much work I actually get done. I don't have college for most of August, so I intend to cover all of the parts that I've been neglecting and build up more skills to produce the harder parts of the process, like learning more about Blender. I also need to make more key art so that I can make this project a little bit more marketable. Well, that covers it for this month, or months. See you next time.